Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica of Jessica-esque, and today I am doing the BookTuber Bio Tag. This BookTube tag was created by Jessica, different Jessica, at Jessica's Library Card. Love that name, by the way. But I actually first saw it through Hannah's books, so I will link her video below. The first prompt is, who are you? Share a little bit about yourself as much as you feel comfortable. I'm Jessica. I am a public librarian and have been for the past 10 years. I am a yoga teacher and I just started teaching yoga. I've been practicing for over 10 years, and in July of 2024, I completed my teacher certification and I started teaching in IRL classes in September of 2024. And as of this moment, I teach anywhere between 2 to 4 or even 5 sometimes yoga classes in person each week. I'm also an astrologer, but recently I have hung up my professional astrology hat, largely because there's just not enough time in the day or the week to do all of the side gigs that I want to do. So previously I had a membership, a monthly membership that you could be a part of. It's still up as an archive and exists on Patreon, but I really wanted to make more time for teaching yoga and doing that, especially in person. So I have not done much with astrology lately, but in that vein, I'll share that I am a Capricorn sun, a Virgo moon, a Libra rising, and Venus in Scorpio. I'm a lifelong equestrian, and for about 10 years, I owned my own horse named Simba. You can find sporadic videos with him in them throughout this channel. And for the past 3 years, I really haven't had the opportunity or a horse to ride. And that all changed a few months ago. And as of May of 2025, I've been riding a really cute 5-year-old thoroughbred called Casper, who I often call Kaz, who you can also now see on this channel. I am married, I'm a wife. I have been married to my husband Greg for coming up to 11 years. He's also been on this channel back in the day. And together we have a dog named Evie and 2 cats. One is named Luna, the other is Amura. And lastly, in 2020, I completed my master's degree in information sciences with a major in library sciences. And while I was there, I met 2 of my now closest and dearest friends. And during the pandemic, we created a book club for the 3 of us. We are all pretty voracious readers and independently use Goodreads before we even met. And in January of 2025, we read our 100th book. So we've now read over 100 books together, which is very impressive and very cool, and just a really fun way to spend time with the people that I love. Next prompt is, how long have you been on BookTube? This is kind of an involved question, or answer rather. So I started this channel at the very tail end of 2013. And I made a lot of BookTube content, and I also made, document your life content. I wrote and presented poetry on this channel and would participate in tags, share a bit about my life. And it was just a general catch-all with a real BookTube focus. I posted a lot in 2014, 2015, and I would say starting around 2016, I got less and less posted and was participating in the community a lot less. And then by about maybe 2017, I just stopped posting altogether. Sporadically, I would, post a video, what I'm reading, or a TBR or something like that. But I just never felt the call to really come back. And then I decided to come back in earnest spring of 2025. And that was largely inspired by my friend Dora, who I met during the pandemic online through the astrology world and the small business world. and she, for the past few years, has been doing panning videos, been a big part of the panning community here on YouTube, and just seeing how much joy and connection and community that she was getting through that like niche community on YouTube, it really reminded me that there's, you know, a place for everybody. And so I just dove back into BookTube. The next prompt is, what kind of books do you love to read, and has BookTube had an effect on what you read? I would say yes, absolutely. BookTube has had an effect on what I read. Sometimes it has an effect on what I avoid reading. But for instance, Ellen Made Book Club has talked, I think, a couple of times pretty positively about some fiction by author Natalie Haynes. And I had never heard of Natalie Haynes before, or at least not consciously. And I happened to have her nonfiction book, Divine Might, on hold through Libby, through my library. And it took me a moment to kind of clock that it was the same author, the same person. But once I had it checked out, I was like, oh, I know this will be good because Ellen Made Book Club says that the fiction is really good. So I imagine that the nonfiction will be really cool too. So it does make me feel like I have my finger on the pulse a little bit as well. In terms of what kind of books I like to read, I really love literary fiction, nonfiction, and what I would call like less trendy classics. I'm not sure if there's a better term for those, as well as a smattering of poetry. I go through phases where I really love poetry, like Edna St. Vincent Millay, Mary Oliver, Leonard Cohen, and others as well. As for literary fiction, some of the books that I have read and really loved in the past few years are books like Migration, Pull of the Stars, House of the Spirits, Private Rights, Earthlings, oh my gosh, Moon of the Crusted Snow, the list goes on. And then when it comes to that less trendy classics that I mentioned, things like Agnes Grey, I really loved, Howard's End, I adored, Cranford, Wives and Daughters. I'll add North and South on here just because I read it recently. I would say that North and South is more of a trendy one. People know about it, they've heard about it, they've probably seen the BBC adaptation. And I do like some other classics as well, but I kind of like those less celebrated ones. Next prompt is, what do you enjoy about making BookTube videos? I would say meeting people in the community of bibliophiles and readers, just knowing that they're out there making their own content, or they've subscribed to my channel and maybe comment, and we can chat a little bit about it, or even just make little comments like, oh, you liked that one, I really didn't, vice versa. Something else that I really cherish and enjoy and always have is like documenting bits and pieces of my life. And I really enjoy how much reading is a part of my life and always has been. I love the sort of like home movies that I've been able to make over the years. And it just helps me kind of remember what my life has been like. The next question is, what do you not enjoy about making BookTube videos? I would say there's a couple of things. One of them is trends. And when I say that, I don't know if I'm being super clear, but you know, if somebody makes a video and they've claimed to have read all 10 of like the Booker long list or the Canada Reads long list or whatever, I really question, like, did you actually want to read all of those, or are you trying to be an authority so that you can say for certain which book you think should have won? I just get really sus when people read all of the books, you know, like it just seems like they're trying a little too much. Um, and and it also, I think how I relate this back to making BookTube videos is, then if I see a few people have done this, I'll be like, am I the only one that doesn't want to read 10 finalists or like long lists or like a short list that a panel of judges is going to decide which one is going to win that year? Like, then I start questioning, like, am I the weird one? Am I the one that like is just out of the loop and I should be doing this because it will make a huge difference in the world? And then the next thing I dislike about making booktube videos, it's quite an ironic situation, but I have this real aversion to being recommended material to either watch or read. Um, and it can be like, I think especially when it's, my best friend knowing my taste, knowing what I've shared that I've liked in the past, and letting me know, like, hey, I read this book, I think you would really enjoy it, you should read it. It's not if this happens, it's when this happens, because it has already happened numerous times. I'm never reading that book. I don't know what it is. There's like some blockade that comes up, or a drawbridge, that, well, drawbridges go up. The wall in between, the castle goes down. That goes down. The drawbridge comes up, and I'm like, you may not know my soul. You are not allowed to pass, and get any closer. And I'm sure that's to do with, the fear of losing connections. But it's something that am I working on it? We'll say I'm working on it. The next prompt is, what video on your channel are you most proud of? I would say my first book review, which was 1984. This would have been published in, like, the video would have been published in probably early 2014. It currently has like 22,000 views, and I just put a lot of thought, a lot of time, and a lot of care into it. And I think that still, shines through if you watch it. It's not one that I like go and rewatch or anything, but of my memory of making it, I have no cringeworthy moments. The next prompt is there anything you wish was different about BookTube? Short answer is no, I don't think so. However, I will say it is a little surreal to be in the corner of BookTube that I'm now in, because it sort of seems like post-pandemic, there is like a very different space that exists in this BookTube community. And so it does feel like I fell asleep and took like a Rip Van Winkle style nap and woke up years later, and the village around me has changed in everything but name. So it's not that I want that to be different or that to change. It's more that I notice that there are differences and changes around me, and I want to, I guess, initiate myself into the community a bit more and get to know all the cool and lovely people that have started BookTube in more recent years, but are now quite also established because they've been doing it for years. The next prompt is, name 3 books that you have reviewed on your channel that you feel represent you as a reader. I will link these below. I will say, I used to do quite a few book reviews. I also, at one point, created a whole other like separate BookTube channel where I was just doing book reviews, book tags, Friday reads, things like that. So on that channel, I did the Wind Up Bird Chronicle. I'll link it. I mean, I think a lot of time has passed and I had a lot more time to process. I made the review really quickly after having read it, but I'll link it anyway. There's also The Psychopath Test by Jon Ronson. I really love this one because the book was really cool. I think it's a really good reflection of the kind of nonfiction that I enjoy to read. But also, back in the day when I first published it, Jon Ronson, the author, retweeted my video. So that was very sweet. He did promptly delete the tweet, but it existed. He said really nice things. And I have a feeling he felt neurotic about having retweeted a book review that was glowing about his work. So it still happened, John. We all know. We know. I know. And then the last one I will link is The Sisters Brothers. This was a book that I read as part of a Canlit BookTube book club that I ran with 2 other Canadian booktubers for a couple of years. We ran it on YouTube as well as Goodreads, and there was 3 of us in total, and so we would each pick a book, and each of us would do our own video, and then we'd make the videos. We'd also have like guest stars kind of thing, and guests that would pick the book that we were going to read. And of course, it was Canlit. So Patrick DeWitt lives in the States, but he's originally from Canada. So, and I just really loved that book when I read it, The Sisters Brothers. The next prompt is name 3 booktubers whose content inspires you. I've already referenced her once before, but Ellen Made Book Club. I really love her content, really find her like reading pace to be very inspiring. I think she reads a bit more than I do per month, but it feels like, I don't know, attainable goals to kind of set for myself. I really love all the tags that she does, really love the consistency, and just really appreciate having more booktubers from around the world and moving away from, you know, I'm Canadian, I live in Canada. We're very, very close to the US, and sometimes it feels like our culture and the culture of others gets really lost or drowned out or overshadowed by American culture. So it is really nice to have other countries represented in BookTube. Another inspiring booktuber is Mimi of It's Mimi Jong. I really love her content. I would say that we don't have a whole lot of overlap with like taste and like in terms of what she's read. I've maybe heard of those titles, but they're not ones that are like on my holds list. But something that really inspires me about her content and her channel is her stats and how she displays those stats. I just find that so inspiring, and I'm trying to learn more from her about like how she does them, because I want to follow in her footsteps. And then the last inspiring booktuber is Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. I really, again, I think we have like a little bit of overlap in terms of the kind of books that we read, but not overly. So I like, what I like about that is that we're not, it doesn't feel like I'm in an echo chamber, which can happen. And I really love Kelly's consistency and how frequently she makes videos and how much she's like really personalizes them, and like it's not, that I know of, it's not oversharing about her life, and I certainly hope she doesn't feel that way. But it does feel like I'm getting, you know, a weekly, if not more, update on her life and her reading. So really love her channel as well. Okay, and the last prompt is share the love. It can be challenging to find your audience, so name 3 booktubers who you think need more hype. I will say I don't think that anyone that I mentioned needs anything. This is more just recommendations of booktubers that I really enjoy. So I'll dive right in. Alex from Stay at Home Reader. I think Alex commented on a video that I had made, and that made me aware of her channel. And I really love, similar to Kelly, who I mentioned earlier, I just really love the sort of snippets of Alex's life that we get to see, hearing about her family. I just find very endearing and very sweet. And she's also very consistent and posts a lot. She's also starting a readathon of sorts about high school rereading. And she like homeschools her kids. So it just seems like a really cool and cute and very like tender activity to do, to like bring her closer to her own interests of reading, but also the interests of her kids. And yeah, I just highly recommend her channel. Another channel I'll recommend is Read Becca. And this channel is another one that I really admire in terms of consistency. She will have sit down talking videos, but she also does these really cute, like hot or not videos. And usually the backdrop is like wildlife, I'm guessing, near her. And then she'll kind of do these quick, kind of rapid fire, like, this is the book title, this was my rating, hot, not, or meh, I think are the ratings. So and like I said, we do have like a little bit of overlap, and I don't think it's necessarily like she's read a book I've read a book she's read. I think it's more like she's read a book by maybe an author that I've been recommended before. We all know how I feel about recommendations. um, and and so there's some overlap in terms of maybe themes or style, and we've been able to chat a little bit about that, which I really appreciate. And then finally, I'd like to recommend Kim Reads and Reviews. She just did the BookTuber Pet Tag, and more recently, well, that was the most recent, but recently she did a video that was not quite a weekly wrap up, but quite a chatty book talk about what she has been reading. And I just really love those like sit down um, chatty videos. I just really enjoy having those on while I'm like eating breakfast or maybe cleaning my kitchen or something like that. So it's really cool that she's getting into those kind of videos, and she also has like tags and some reviews as well. And again, I don't think we have a direct overlap in terms of the type of books that we read, but I certainly find it very interesting to know what she's reading, and that's the same for all the booktubers that I've mentioned. Okay, wow, first tag of 2025 done. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the BookTuber Bio Tag created by Jessica's Library Card. I am a different Jessica of Jessica-esque, and thank you so much for watching. If you have been tagged in this video and have not yet done this tag, I would love to see your answers. And if you're watching this, I assume everyone's already done this tag because I just feel very behind. But I honestly don't know how long ago it was created. So if you stumble upon this tag and would like to do it, I'd love to see your answers and get to know you a little better. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.